All right, welcome back to another really less Kevin, because Kevin's not here. Less Kevin, more tech, UTECIT.com.
That's right.
Two in a row today, huh, with Les Kevin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Recording.
Yep.
So we got Les and Vince.
And we have our great guest. I'm looking forward to hearing what she's got going on. Taylor Miller-Goulait, Monarch Company.
Yes.
Yes. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Start out. Tell us about yourself. Tell us what you're doing.
Yeah. So as I said just a moment ago, my full name is Taylor Renee Miller-Goulait. So it's very sing-songy. It's like a Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah, we could do something with that. Yeah.
But I'm the co-founder and owner of Monarch Coaching alongside my partner, Erica Rivera. And we started officially in 2022, but then we really launched full-time last February. And we're a leadership development company. And we focus a lot on more entry-level leadership, not necessarily the executive level. We really want to help people that are looking to either excel in their leadership roles and get to that executive level, or people who are aspiring to get into leadership. It's kind of our niche.
That's
or
your
niche.
niche, your
Our
target.
niche.
Your niche.
Yeah, for everybody out there, we went through niche and niche.
We're niches.
We're niches,
Yeah.
niches over
I'm
here.
a niche.
So,
Yeah.
So.
I think I'm the only niche.
You are the only.
Oh, are you?
No, I was
He
a
was a
niche.
niche.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez,
we're three
that
niches.
went right by me. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. 3 against 1, I guess. Yeah.
Hey, Taylor, so do you work with a lot of young folks coming out of college just trying to find their foot, what they want to do, in life, maybe their first job, and say, hey, I feel like I need these leadership skills to really advance in that field?
I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't say we do right out of college, though, typically. A lot of the people that we've been working with are people that are in their maybe mid-20s to 40s, and they are in smaller companies. Our goal, because we have, like I said, we just started out, so we're still kind of finding that niche.
Yeah.
And what I think our focus will be on, though, because our experience is with corporate America, and our experience there was primarily the average age was about 33 of who we were coaching and training. And it's people who have leadership experience but kind of need those skills fine-tuned. And our focus is on what's called transformational leadership. So it's not like organizational executive leaders. It's more people, team-level leadership. And how do you bring those people along with you and help develop them? I think a lot of people that are in their early 20s are still trying to figure out themselves.
Right.
And so not that they can't be leaders, but it's more like they're just kind of checking the boxes and doing what they have to. But people who are really looking to get into actual leading and leaving a legacy, if you will, those are the people that we're really looking to help.
So your target niche
Yes.
is not, it's not so much the individual, is what I just heard you say. It's the company with the younger employees.
Yeah. I think I'm a millennial. I'm 33. So I think my target market for myself, and Erica's the same age as well, our style of leadership is very millennial style.
What's that mean?
Yeah, what's that mean? Yeah, I like to
It's
dive deeper into that.
there's it's a lot less authoritative, and I think a lot of people I do not back the whole we're family aspect of what a lot of companies are doing right now. Not that I don't think you can't love the people that you work with. I truly do.
I mean,
love
is
the people I
it
work
the
with.
Pointer Sisters that had that song? Or
Pointer
no?
Sisters.
You're a
Your
family?
family?
Yeah.
Oh
did
yeah.
that?
So,
I'll sing for you later.
Who sang that?
all right.
I don't know who it was, but I
Okay.
can sing. But I'm
Sisters
not going to sing it
Sledge?
right now.
No, I don't know.
No, it was not.
No, that was
No.
the sister
I'm
slash.
just
We
coming up
are
with something.
not family. We are
It
coworkers.
was?
But when I'm talking about like a millennial style of leadership, it's more of an empathetic approach. And building that relationship from a perspective of empathy and understanding where people are coming from, as opposed to having the same expectations for every single person. You accommodate a little bit better and a little bit more based on people's unique circumstances and help them grow and develop in that way.
Situational fluency.
So when a company wants to hire Monarch, right, and have you come in, what does that look like? Are you working with groups of certain leaders? Is it mixed men and women? How often? Like, what does that look like?
So we have 3 specific services that we're offering right now. The one that we've been working on the most this past year has been our online content. So we have online learning modules. They're all focused around empathetic or emotional intelligence. Empathetic leaders also another one. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. We've got a lot about like building trust and things like that. So we have a lot of online modules that are self-paced, and anyone who wants to take those can take those. The ideal client would be that an organization wants to implement our approach with the online learning as part of their leadership onboarding, so that their leaders are very streamlined from the get-go. And I think that it would work a little bit better. I don't know if that's the right phrasing for it, but I think that it would be more impactful, there we go, for younger leaders to be going through this as opposed to people who are kind of stuck in their leadership
So do you
ways.
think millennials get kind of a bad rap?
It depends on who you're talking to. I think that we've faced, every generation faces very unique challenges.
Right, yeah.
So I'm not going to say that we get a bad rap compared to who, right? I mean, everyone gets a bad rap in some capacity. But I think that we're very resilient. Not that others aren't, but I do think that some of the qualities, for me at least from my perspective, is we're very resilient and we're innovative, and we like to try and find approaches that aren't necessarily so aggressive or authoritative. We're trying to be a little bit more, like I said, empathetic and understanding to people's different perspectives.
Yeah.
Well, I find myself saying it now. You know, you go generations. Your dad said, "Oh, you kids, right?"
Yeah.
Now I sit there, I go, "These damn kids." You know what I mean?
Damn
It's a-
kids. I'm doing
right,
the same
exactly.
thing.
Right,
My nieces
so
and
you're
nephews. I'm
coming,
like, these.
Yep,
I don't
you're
even
coming
know
into the
Gen
next
Y.
phase of your life.
Yes.
That's very
Gen
story.
Z?
Yeah. What's that?
That's not Gen Z.
Gen Y is like,
Is it?
I think that's the next.
little
Isn't that
ones
the
now?
next one? I don't
Is it?
know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Gen Zs are like in their
Gen
20s.
Z is like in their 20s.
Yeah.
So that's like the new workforce. That's kind of
Yeah.
also that's another challenge for a lot of organizations, are how do like Gen X and millennials, how are they working with the Gen Z?
Right.
How do
They're
they?
very innovative. I'll put it
Yeah.
that way.
Okay.
And it is different. So it's,
Plus, you have the boomers in that.
Yes.
It's in the workforce today. There's actually 5 generations
Yeah.
in the
I think
workforce
we've got
right now.
we've got
It's the
3 right here,
most.
right?
Yeah.
Are you a boomer?
I'm a boomer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm X.
I'm X,
And then you're
yeah.
millennial.
a millennial. Yeah. When I was working my corporate job, my team was primarily Gen Z, actually. And I think that they responded really well to me because I have more of an empathetic approach to my leadership style. But I do hold people very accountable, and they would tell you like that I'm not a very passive person, but I can be I'm a very equitable person. But Gen Z is very, they like the remote work. They like to do things on their own time, and they value their personal time, which why wouldn't you, right? I mean, I am too.
Right.
So I think it's going to be a very interesting take when they start to kind of take over.
Because most of those folks, right, they were either in high school or college during the pandemic, where they're
Yes.
learning.
Yeah.
You know, for a couple of years, that's how it was. It was
Yeah.
remote.
Yeah.
A lot of the companies that we're talking to right now, one of the biggest challenges is that they're hiring a lot of Gen Z, and their leadership is either Gen X right now or millennial, and there's such a work ethic gap.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about it myself.
I am too.
Yeah, and what I really like about it is the concept of or where artificial intelligence is going, and it's a technology that's so rapidly changing, and the adaptability is really I think gonna create the haves and the have-nots, and I don't think it's gonna take much more than 12 to 24 months.
Yeah.
We're on that precipice right now, and I just think it's exciting to see something like that in
too.
my lifetime.
Yeah.
I think they're going to find ways where we don't have to work as hard and as long. Like, that's one of my biggest things is one of the reasons why I wanted to start this company before I even knew it was going to be called Monarch. I just was like, I want work-life balance. And this is something that, like, my dad, he passed away in 2020, and watching him, sorry not to be like super sad, but he was very sick for a few months, and I just was like, he was so worried about work and missing work. And I was like, Richard, you are dying. I do not want to be like that. So that was kind of like a kickstart for me to be like,
But it's ingrained in a lot of
I
us, though.
want to just do something for myself. Yeah.
little synapses fire, and I just want to throw it at you.
Yeah.
Monarch Consulting,
Monarch Coaching.
Monarch Coaching, and your focus is transformational leadership.
You got it.
So is there a connection there between a Monarch?
There sure is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So wait a minute, I got to tell you something. You
Yeah.
just went Monarch Coaching.
coaching. Yeah.
That could be
Consulting.
Yeah, that's right.
culture
Or it
and
could be like
culture.
a cult, and that's
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
vibe I'm
That's
going for.
see, that was we stumble on things.
Yeah, here's something that you won't. Nobody will even understand that, but that's a Sonny Elliott word.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you laugh, Johnny?
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm talking
He
about.
was briefly in my life. It's
So-
old weather guy.
Must be a
Weather
boomer
guy.
thing, yeah, I don't know.
Weather guy, yeah.
He used to he'd go and he'd say it's it in this city and this city, and then he'd combine the two cities' names.
got
and
it.
He invented a lot of words that way.
Okay. That's
So, so I connected on the Monarch. Mm-hmm. So how'd you come up with that?
Well, Erica and I were at a coffee shop one day wrapping our heads around. We knew what we wanted to do. No pun intended, it has transformed so much over the last 2 years. Like, we went from initially wanting to just do coaching to then we wanted to do like live in-person workshops for small businesses. And then we were like, they can't afford this, unfortunately. So now we're like transforming into this whole new other thing. But as we were looking for a name, I literally just pulled up a National Geographic magazine.
Yeah.
And it was like the migration of the monarchs.
Cool.
And I was like, Erica, this
Yeah.
is what we need. And she's like,
calling.
transformational
Yeah,
leadership.
yeah.
So it was like, oh yeah, it was just, it made sense. And then a friend of mine was kind enough to make our logo, which is kind of an abstract butterfly. And we didn't want it to be too feminine, but we didn't want it to be like too obvious.
There's a
either.
lot there, the larvae, right?
Yeah,
Cocoon, the transformation,
Metamorphosis.
right? Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty slick.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
So Taylor, you mentioned a couple times about corporate and what you did before, and I know that's how you guys have your connection. So why don't you guys talk a little bit about how you know each other and where you were before Monarch?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think really where we really got to know each other was, obviously a former company that were really precise in regards to taking people through an entire process, not only culture-wise, but leadership-wise and things of that nature. And Taylor was deep into that team and helping set that up. And what was the name of the week-long or
Leadership excellence.
Leadership excellence. So you actually go through it, and it's a prescribed set of things, and at the end you actually present something in your life. I did my daughter's college, you kind of related that with everything. So that's really how we met.
Yeah.
Got to know each other
Yeah.
Right.
more personally.
Yeah, that was a great experience, that whole thing. So I was the team lead of leadership development at that company. And then we grew. I started on that team in 2018, and it was just 4 of us. And that team grew from 4 to 17 in 4 years. It was wild. So I kind of went through the whole ranks there. And I went from a very entry-level coordinator. I was scheduling the leadership coach, which was one person, who was also the leadership trainer. I was scheduling her for everything.
And her name was Coach.
Oh yeah, yes,
Everybody called
yeah.
her
Actually, there were 2. Yeah, so there was Renee and Emma, but so we were, and then Bob too. So it was just the 4 of us. Amazing team. I love that. And I'm gonna bite my own words right now and say we were family. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm still in touch with all of them to this day. Like, they're just such
guys were
wonderful
close.
people.
Really
Yes,
close,
very,
yeah.
very close. But so I grew from entry level into like instructional design, which is really building all of the workbooks and PowerPoints and things like that. And then I got into actually training in the classroom, and then I started coaching individuals, and then I was leading the team, and it was such a unbelievable, but also it's just a very incredible experience. So it's a really cool team to be a part of.
So, did you ever in that role have to, for lack of a better word, cost justify your existence?
No. And that's what I think I loved about that organization, was because they had so much emphasis on leadership that it was seen as a essential piece. And I think that's why they are as successful as they are.
So I've read that companies, like when things get tight, what's the first thing to go?
You have to list your responsibilities and what you do.
Training goes like number one, like it's the the short list. I've also read that American businesses last year spent a little over $60 billion
On what?
coaching and training. It's
Really?
a huge market.
It's huge on an individual level, and that's what I'm noticing a lot is that companies will be willing to purchase it for someone who's interested in it, but they're not purchasing it for their own organization. And I think there's, pros and cons to that, but I think you see a lot of very different styles and approaches, and sometimes when you're in a larger organization, you do need it to be a bit more streamlined, because then you've got one person saying this, another person saying that. How, who are you supposed to believe, or who do you follow? And so it can be kind of confusing if you're just focused on the individual development and not the actual team development.
The organization, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So you were in an integral role, and then why didn't you just go started another big company? And what lit the entrepreneurial spark?
Yeah, I think post pandemic, I think this was a lot of people were just inspired by all that, and I for a while after that, the whole return to work movement and the whole it's mandatory to be in the office, which same pros and cons to that. Like, yes, there is benefit to working in the office. I've seen it, I know it, and I've experienced it. But there's also a lot of benefit to having that flexibility for your employees. And it just was a company that was not bending on that. And I saw a lot of really, really fantastic people struggling after that. And I lost a lot of great employees from my team. I lost a lot of really essential team members. We got great people on to replace them, but I was getting very frustrated, and I was like, how? And for me personally, I didn't have a lot of room to grow in that role. So the next role above me was the VP of Leadership Development, who is, can I name drop? Is that okay? Yeah, Renee Harmon. She's one of my favorite people. She's like my mentor. Yeah. And she was the one that really encouraged me to find something.
Yeah.
And she's like, if she's not gonna retire anytime soon, unfortunately. I mean, she probably will. Yes, you know what, Renee, I'm manifesting this for you. You're gonna retire
Right, exactly.
in the next 12 months. This is for you. Yeah. I'm manifesting it for you. Yeah. But, she was in this VP role, and I knew just with the corporate politics and whatnot that if she were to leave and retire, I would not have gotten that position. I would have probably become like an AVP or something. But they would have replaced me with someone else. And it's fine. I just knew that was how the politics were going. So I was like, I don't know in my career, I don't know where I'm going. And I'm really frustrated with kind of how the organization's going right now. And it was her and a friend of mine and just a couple different, it was like the perfect storm in like 1 month of, why aren't you just doing this for yourself?
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing this for someone else? And I was like, because I don't know how to start that by myself. So I was like, that's the biggest, I don't know how to do it.
The first step's always
exactly.
So your business partner now, what's your name again?
Erica.
So did she work with you in the same type of role at that company? Yep. Okay, so you guys kind of started this, had the same background, knew each other from that. Okay.
Yeah, so Erica was an instructional designer alongside with me for a couple months, and then our leader left, and I got promoted to the leadership position, so Erica was one of my direct reports. But also she held the team just as accountable as I would. She's an amazing leader. And I know I'm biased, but she really is. She's my favorite leader. And in a technical sense, I've never reported to her, but she is a leader. Like, she's one of the most, she holds me the most accountable, I think, than anyone else ever has for my, whether she's siding with me or not. Right. And I appreciate that about her. Yeah. But yeah, when I kind of confronted her one day and I was like, Renee's kind of encouraging me to just do this on my own. And I don't want to do it by myself. Would you want to be my partner? Okay. And she was like, it was like I was proposing to her. Yeah. I was like, thank God she said yes. Because I don't know how, I was like, this is the most important question. Will you be my business partner? She said yes. And I think we have a very good balance where we do hold each other very highly accountable. And she's a very, I don't know if you really had much interaction with her, Vince.
I didn't, because kind of when my process was, kind of ended, and I think she actually kind of came in. Yeah. But when I left the company, she ended up leading that team for 10 months, and then she kind of joined me. So we both have very similar experience in that regard.
But she's Colombian, and I would love to have her on the show so she can share her story. But she's Colombian from Medellin originally, and she's a professional salsa and bachata dancer.
Wow.
And so she actually has traveled all over, and she lived in Seoul, Korea for 7 years. And like did her own thing and had a dance partner, and they promoted themselves, and they were like hustling in there. And then when she moved to the U.S., she had met her husband, who's actually from Ann Arbor. And he was teaching English in Korea, so they met, and she moved, of course.
Yeah.
Everyone comes to Michigan for love.
Well,
I think that has been a common
love
theme.
her. Okay.
I've always been in Michigan, but I feel like anytime I meet someone who's from a different country or a different state, I'm like, what brought you to Michigan? They're like, oh, my husband, oh, my wife. I was like,
It's not the weather?
I think we have to have her on now because aren't you a white belt in salsa dancing? Isn't that?
Is that a thing?
It is a thing.
It is
Oh.
a thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a beginner, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Oh, she's so
I would
talented.
pull every single muscle
Yeah.
in my body if I attempted to do a salsa dance. I've seen that on TV before.
Yeah.
you got moves. I've seen them.
But,
Yeah.
So she's incredible
But
in
they're
her
not like
experience.
Jagger.
They're not like Jagger. Yeah, I don't think you need moves like Jagger.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So great background, right?
yeah.
Good story so far, and I like the naming and
Thanks.
you know, there's all. What is your, to use a common phrase, what's your go-to-market strategy? What are you thinking? Is it anybody out there? Do you?
Like our target market.
Yeah. What and how you addressing it, and how are
Yeah.
you growing your business? And,
I think we're kind of refining it still every day
Yeah.
because we are so new.
Yeah.
And leadership is something that is so needed everywhere that it's kind of like, oh, we do leadership training, and we want to get more niche, but we also don't want to discourage other people from reaching out to us either.
Right.
Which, you know, that's kind of a thing that we're working on right now. We have a SCORE mentor. Are you familiar with SCORE?
Yeah. I
He's
think it's
awesome.
fantastic.
Yeah, that's a great program.
Why
Love
don't you
that.
share that? Because a lot of people do not know about
Yes, go to
SCORE.
score.org, SCORE.org, and sign up. It's completely free. You get a mentor that will help you. They're either entrepreneurs or people who have a lot of experience,
Right.
and a lot of them are retired. The first SCORE mentor that we had was in his 30s. I was like, wow, I want to be you.
So wasn't it originally like the Senior Corps of Retired?
Something,
Something like that. Yeah, it was
Entrepreneurs, retired
entrepreneur. Yeah, it was in
entrepreneurs.
conjunction with the SBA, and
Yes.
if you actually wanted an SBA loan, you had to go through the SCORE program at
Yeah.
one time. So
Yeah, no, I love, we have, our guy's name is Greg right now, and he's fantastic, and just a lot of help with like our value proposition and trying to narrow down our market to who are we pitching this to, because we come from a background where we were given our clients,
right.
you know, and
Yeah, you were internal.
yeah, exactly. So it was very easy for us to come up with the content and focus solely on the content. And that's where we're kind of like, we're experts at this, what we're
Right.
doing and what we're building. But when it comes to selling and promoting ourselves, it can be a little challenging
Yeah.
and daunting. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was like, I'd never had to do this before.
So the videos that you talked about, the training videos and the
Yes.
modules on your website, is it something that you built? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, we do. We write the scripts, we do the voiceovers, we film ourselves, we make animated videos. I mean, like I'm biased, but they're very engaging. And you might be familiar with some of the stuff that we had at the company we worked for. It's amazing. And Erica's super talented, and I love doing it, so I think I'm good at it because I really enjoy it. But I think the content itself is presented in a way that's very engaging and it's very fun.
So is the goal to find a client and then go on site with the client, or is the goal to be remote and use the video
The
content?
dream
The dream.
is to have a lot more of our online content, so that so the way that our online content works, just so you guys know, is you watch like a 30 to 40 minute video series. So there's little short snippets. While you're watching the video, there's an interactive workbook, and you do exercises in it. So a lot of reflection questions, a lot of like little quizzes and stuff like that. And then after you're completed with that, it prompts you to schedule a coaching session with one of us. Mm-hmm. So then you get up to an hour coaching session for us to help you apply what you just learned to your role and how your unique like circumstances and situations. Because leadership is not a one size fits all. So
It's very situational.
exactly, it's a very gray subject. So we do that. We have 2.5, I'll say, packages that we've got built right now that are available online. The first one's Leadership Essentials, and that goes through more of what we see as the foundation of.
Can I just take so in other words, your business model is hybrid actually.
Mm-hmm.
So it's coming back to the millennial and the Gen Zer and
it's self-paced,
right?
So, which I think is helpful for a lot of organizations, so they don't have to cut out a couple hours, or a day even sometimes for like a leadership seminar.
Sure.
It's all self-paced. They're getting the same content, but they're also getting very individualized coaching sessions to help them apply it to their unique situations.
Yeah. Hybrid. It's a
Yeah,
hybrid. I like
it is.
I
Yeah.
do.
So
I like
do you
that
see
concept.
that more individuals are coming to you, or are companies coming to you wanting their employees to go,
Right
do
now,
the training?
we're seeing more individuals. We would ideally like it to try to get to the point where organizations are purchasing it for their leadership teams. I think it's just beneficial to them to have more streamlined leadership where everyone's speaking the same language, everyone has the same expectations. Like I said earlier, when you're doing it on an individual basis where someone's getting coaching from this person, which is fine, and then the other person's getting online training from this company, they might not be aligned. They might not be streamlined. So, and I am all about authentic leadership and leading as an individual, like having your personality in your leadership style for sure. But there still are some things that need to be consistent, especially if you're in an organization where people can go from team to team, or you're very collaborative, so you're working with different people, or you have different levels of leadership. If your VP and your team lead don't have the same training or the same language, it can be very confusing.
Yeah, and I see businesses getting flatter and more collaborative.
I do too.
And the technology is just going to force that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Collabing is a huge word out there.
Yeah, I would even
It's
put
on your
it.
shirt.
I was just going to say I'd even put it under my logo, and I'd put it under my logo and
Yeah.
put it on my shirt.
Yes.
So that's interesting. Off the wall, but any technical issues in terms of delivery?
So we're using this platform called Kajabi, and we've just started using it this year. And it is basically made for online content, so you can sell online training content. And it's also it's partnered with your website, which is cool. So I have built the entire website myself and put all of our trainings. So Erica's pretty much building all of the trainings, and she's doing the animated videos and all of that stuff. So she's building it all, and then I'm putting it into the system. We've had a few different people go through. We've had people that are piloting it for us and people that are testing it, just UX stuff. And it's very user-friendly.
Yeah.
So on the user end, for me, it took 6 to 8 months to try and learn it,
right,
but
right,
I did.
right.
Luckily, they had like a coach that comes with it for the first 90 days, and he was like, I'm sick of this girl. She keeps coming out with all these questions. We're like, no, we don't do that yet. I'm like, can you do that?
Yeah.
But as far as like the technology, Kajabi is really pretty much all that we're using right now. That would be client facing as well.
Yeah, so delivery of the programming.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you're really down to your challenge point is getting a customer.
Yeah. And that's where this year, I think starting in June, especially because we'll be done. So right now we're working on a diversity, equity, and inclusion online package. We also do, I should add this too, we do in-person trainings as well. So we've done a lot with like local chambers of commerce or like co-working spaces. There's one that actually just opened up in Ann Arbor called Bamboo, and there's one that's in Royal Oak too. And we've done some stuff with them. So, and at Oakland schools, we're going to be doing some of their faculty training with them. So we do a lot of in-person training too.
Yeah.
But our focus and what we would love to try and do, because we can reach a broader audience, is the hybrid, the online.
Right. And you don't
Yeah.
have a geographical limitation.
Exactly.
Right? It's basically English speaking.
Yes. And she speaks Spanish.
Oh,
There you go.
hey.
There you go.
Which is a
opening
double
up.
whammy. Our content is all made in English, I will say that, but she, from being from Colombia,
Yeah,
she
right,
speaks
right.
fluent Spanish. So we just recently had someone reach out actually to ask, can you guys do
Sure.
your stuff in Spanish? And she's like, oh, yeah, I can translate
Right.
that for
Right-
sure.
right
yeah.
now.
I was like, that's a lot of work for you, so go ahead and take that. I'd have to use a lot of Duolingo for me to translate that, but
That's
yeah.
fascinating.
So how are you getting the word out and marketing yourselves? Is it, basically social media?
A lot of social media. I'm trying to do stuff like this too, like even podcasting. I've been asked to be on a couple different podcasts, which has been really nice. So thank you,
There you
Vince,
go.
for
Yeah,
the invite.
Absolutely.
I think that it's going to have to be more word of mouth because we're not big like marketing people. I'm not going to buy a billboard for this or anything like that. And I think it needs to be organic, and we need to prove ourselves as the experts in this field. And I think the challenge for us is that we are young women. We're both 33-year-old women, and the leadership industry is primarily men. So older men, you know, Gen X and Boomer. So you too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You.
and it can be challenging.
I'm
yeah.
the only Boomer here.
Yeah. Well, I said Gen X. But
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
So yeah, but on the flip side, that creates a lot of opportunity.
exactly.
Because,
It's very exciting.
Yeah, that's a gap, right? So
Absolutely.
you can identify a gap. Just need
Yeah.
to fill it.
So to answer your question even more, it's been a lot of us posting a lot of like videos online, sharing a lot of content, sharing some stories from our coaching sessions that we've had. And we want to get into blogging eventually and podcasting ourselves. So we would do a podcast. We still have to kind of fine tune exactly what we want to do with it, but we definitely want to get into that space where we're showing that we are the experts in this. And this is it's not for everybody, I will say that, but it's for some people. So, and if those people are the people that we're catching, then that's perfect.
Well, I mean, if you're going after Gen Z, right?
How you get
Millennial,
to
Gen Z.
That's
how you're going.
That's how you're doing it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Vince, when you went through the coaching with Taylor, what are some of the things that you can say that helped you or that you really got out of it?
So with me there was me and all the younger folks, right? You know what I mean? It really was. And it really, was set up to be able to talk and communicate, from the basics. You know what I mean? It's funny how we don't ask people like, hey, Les, how do you like to be communicated with? Are you a text guy? Are you an email guy? Do you want me to just call you and things of that nature? And we've all got that ingrained to us, of how you communicate and how you at least start the conversation. Some people want to, before they meet, they want, a big thing where we're at. So we always having an agenda and that was ingrained in, really our lifestyle. So it's just, but they took things in how to communicate and built a process for them that everyone followed throughout the organization. And you kept on just
That
grinding
consistency, right? That helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with that many people, you have to.
Yeah.
and
And your
there's
team
no
was
other way.
very young.
Very young.
Yeah.
And
Now
it
that
grew
I'm
quick.
thinking about it, it was
You know
really
what I mean?
fast
Well,
growing
Vince
too.
is very young himself.
He
Yes,
is.
yes.
Yes, he is.
Yes, I like to think so.
Teeny
Yeah.
bopper.
Yeah, he is. He's
Teeny bopper, yes.
yeah, he did. So earlier, well, let me flip it a little bit.
Sure.
Do you have any measurement tools that you use?
Right now, no. And that's
Okay.
another thing that we're looking for. We're looking for a lot more social proof.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking to pilot some of our stuff currently that we're launching. And I think, to your point about marketing, I think the more social proof we have, the easier it'll be for us to market ourselves.
How about for your clients? So I heard you mention
Right.
emotional intelligence. So EI, there's this, there's a whole series of, applications and trainings built around it.
Right.
You ever thought about, implementing those kinds of tools?
Yeah. So we would track it by their engagement scores.
Okay.
I would say. So internal engagement scores and client satisfaction scores as well. Sometimes there's not really a direct, unless you're in sales, it's hard to find a direct correlation between productivity and like internal engagement.
Right.
So, I mean, yes, if your engagement scores are up and then your sales are up, there's there's a direct correlation. But for a lot of other organizations, like there's an event venue that we were working with, that would be kind of challenging other than their customer reviews being very positive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's customer reviews, customer experience, employee engagement, but we're still kind of trying to fine tune that too.
Got a lot
to be
going on,
honest.
don't you?
Yeah.
She does, doesn't she? Boy, more than at least we initially talked about.
Yeah.
Boy, you've got it
There's
all
so many
figured out,
different
too.
industries. That's
Yeah.
the thing. I think once we become a little bit more niche, it will be
Yeah.
easier for us
Yeah.
to identify that 1,000%.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just want to help everybody.
Help everybody and anybody.
Yeah.
I got it.
And exchange money.
Oh, well, for sure.
the help.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Everyone's always looking to make money.
Yep.
I need to, try to book a trip to Greece or something. So
There you go.
Here we go.
There you go. There you go. Getting out. Yeah.
That's where you should have your next coaching meeting.
Oh, my God, right?
There you go. Yeah, your
Manifest it.
limitations aren't limited, right?
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
Love it.
Oh,
So is there anything that we can do, to help you in your journey?
I think connecting us with people, I think getting our name out there is going to be really helpful, even if it's just for like a coffee chat. just to kind of share what we're doing and how we're doing it. Like I said, we're trying to get people to pilot some of our stuff too. So if we would love specifically organizations that have some kind of leadership hierarchy in place, so we can pilot that to see what, like I was saying, the social proof is and what the outcome of our techniques and our concepts and everything, what impact that has outside of where we came from. Because I feel like I have that social proof when you're looking at the company we were working at. And it's very obvious that company focused so much on leadership, and they grew significantly, and they're still doing very, very well. I think there's definitely a correlation there, but it's hard to prove that to people who aren't in that environment.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's your website? How can people get in touch with you?
It is monarchcoachingco.com.
Monarch.
Yes, and then we are at Monarch Coaching Co. for Instagram and Facebook, and then we're on LinkedIn as
Nice.
well. Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome.
I'm surprised all those were available. I would think Monarch.
We struggled. We wanted just Monarch Coaching, but someone took it.
Oh, yeah. They had the co to get.
We had to get the co. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
but
Yeah.
it's okay. Maybe one day we'll just simplify it.
Yeah.
That's
there you
cool.
go.
So typically at the end of every podcast, we ask somebody about their favorite bourbon. So, hey, where's your bourbon? There we go.
There we have it. Just like that.
Magic.
What's your
Magicians.
favorite bourbon?
Magic bourbon, actually. Magically appearing bourbon.
I love it.
There we go.
Right.
Love
Or
it.
Woodford.
Woodford.
It's good. Yeah.
Which is
Close
what we
second,
have
Which
here.
is what
That's
we
it.
have.
We have your brand. Yeah.
So let's have a toast to your success
Thank you.
and let us know anything we can do to help.
I appreciate you all.
Bada
Thank you for
bing, bada
having
bang.
me.
Yep. Cheers.
Cheers.